What if I told you life after 70 isn't about slowing down? It's about finally doing whatever you want without having to ask permission, ever again. You know, people have this funny idea that life after 70 is all about slowing down and playing bingo. I'm here to tell you, it's actually the perfect time to break a few rules you didn't even know you were following. When you live alone, you can sleep when you feel like it, turn your spare room into a craft cave, or keep your thermostat at tropical rainforest without anyone complaining. Think of it as your personal Golden Age VIP pass. Today, I'm sharing some things you can only truly get away with after 70 when you're living solo. And trust me, some of these are going to make you want to start early. Number 1. Sleep when your body wants, not when the clock says. One of the quiet joys of living alone after 70 is that you finally get to toss society's rigid bedtime and wake-up rules straight out the window. You're not getting up for school, punching a time clock, or worrying about disturbing a partner who wants the lights out at exactly 10:30. Now, your body is the only alarm clock you answer to. If you want to go to bed at 8 p.m. because your eyelids feel like they've been weighed down with sandbags, do it. If you wake up at 3 a.m. and feel bright-eyed, you can get up, make a cup of tea, and read in peace without anyone muttering, "Why are you up so early?" You're no longer on their schedule. You're on yours. I know a woman, Edna, who's basically turned into a happy nocturnal owl. She naps from late afternoon to early evening, then does her crossword puzzles, bakes muffins, and listens to jazz until 2 a.m. No guilt, no explaining, no worrying about ruining tomorrow. And the funny thing? She says she's never slept better. Your body at 70 plus might not follow the same patterns it used to, and instead of fighting it, you get to lean into it. Because honestly, after decades of chasing alarms, school runs, or work schedules, sleeping when you actually feel like sleeping feels downright decadent. 2. Decorate and arrange your home for the way your body moves now. This is one of those things people don't talk about enough. The way your body moves at 70 isn't the way it did at 40. And that's not bad. It just means you get to set up your space so it works with you instead of against you. When you live alone, there's no one to say, "We can't put that chair there," or "That's not where a coffee table goes." You can shift, swap, or remove furniture entirely to make life easier and safer. If your knees don't love stairs, you can put your bedroom downstairs. If you don't want to wrestle with low kitchen cabinets, you can move your most used dishes to waist height. I once visited a gentleman named Carl who had moved all his everyday cooking tools to a rolling cart next to the stove. No bending, no reaching. He laughed and said, "I basically built a kitchen for me, and no one else." And you can get creative about comfort too. Maybe you put your favorite chair right next to the brightest window for your afternoon reading time, even if it means it's out of place in traditional design terms. Or maybe you keep your kettle, tea, and mugs in the living room instead of the kitchen so you don't have to walk far when you want a refill during a movie. At this stage, home isn't about keeping up appearances. It's about keeping you moving comfortably, safely, and happily. 3. Build a schedule around your medical needs without feeling awkward. This is one of the biggest changes that comes with age. Your healthcare and daily wellness routines become a top priority. And when you live alone after 70, you get to build your schedule around them without feeling like you're inconveniencing anyone else. Maybe you need to take medication at certain times of the day. Now you can set alarms and stop what you're doing right on schedule without anyone sighing or saying, "Can it wait until after dinner?" It doesn't matter if you pause mid-TV show to grab your pill box, or if you interrupt a phone call to do your stretching exercises. I know a woman named Mary who has to do breathing treatments twice a day. When she lived with her sister, she felt like she had to disappear so she wouldn't be in the way. Now, she does them in her favorite armchair while watching her soap operas, and it's just part of her normal rhythm. It's not just about medications either. Maybe you need to eat smaller, more frequent meals, or take a short rest after certain activities. Living alone means you can do this without explaining, apologizing, or adjusting for someone else's timeline. And honestly, this is huge, because when your health needs are woven into your day seamlessly, without embarrassment or compromise, it's not just about convenience. It's about living in a way that supports you fully, without anyone making you feel like it's a burden. 4. Let your personal quirks run wild, because no one's around to stop you. You know all those little habits and quirks you've developed over the years that other people find odd? The ones you've either hidden or toned down so you don't get that look from a partner, child, or roommate. Well, after 70, and especially when you live alone, those quirks can come out to play, full-time and unapologetically. If you like listening to 1940s big band music at 7 a.m. while wearing mismatched socks and watering your plants with a teacup, who's going to object? If you want to keep your TV on the Weather Channel all day, even though the weather hasn't changed since breakfast, that's your business. You could start talking to your houseplants like they're old friends, and not just a polite hello, but full conversations about the price of eggs. Nobody's there to roll their eyes. The best part is, these quirks often aren't random weirdness. They're little comfort systems that make life richer. They're what keep your day interesting. My friend Sylvia, 77, arranges her kitchen spices in alphabetical order every single Sunday afternoon while humming old church hymns. She calls it alphabet therapy and swears it keeps her brain sharp. Would her kids think it's strange? Yes. Does she care? Not one bit. Living alone at this age means you finally get to live your life in your rhythm without someone editing you. In fact, you might even discover new quirks you didn't know you had, like putting peanut butter on pancakes or wearing your favorite cardigan year-round because it just feels like me. At this stage, that's not eccentricity, that's freedom. 5. Spend a whole day with zero human interaction and actually enjoy it. Here's something you don't fully appreciate until you're older and alone. A completely people-free day can feel like the deepest, most luxurious spa treatment. It's not about being antisocial. It's about soaking in the sheer quiet with no small talk, no interruptions, and no one asking you where you've put the scissors. When you were younger, spending a whole day alone might have felt lonely. But now, you see it differently. It's peaceful. It's like your thoughts finally have enough elbow room to stretch out. You can read for 3 hours without checking the clock. You can watch 2 old black and white films back to back while your tea goes cold. You can take a nap without setting an alarm, and wake up without that rush to catch up feeling. It's not that you avoid people entirely. It's that you don't need them for the day to feel complete. My neighbor Frank, 79, says his No People Tuesdays are sacred. On those days, he doesn't answer the phone, doesn't check the door, and doesn't even wave at folks walking past his window. It's like I hit the mute button on the world, he says, and everything in my head gets calmer. You'd be surprised how refreshing it feels to not have to react to anyone else's moods or pace for a whole day. No explanations, no compromises. Just you, your own pace, and the quiet. Think of it as recharging your people battery so that when you do socialize, you show up as your best, most relaxed self. 6. Eat for your body's needs, not social convenience. One of the sneaky pressures of living with others is meal conformity. You end up eating at certain times and in certain ways because that's when and how everyone else eats. You might have pasta for dinner because that's what's cooking, even if your stomach feels like it's still digesting lunch. You might avoid having soup for breakfast because someone will say, "Soup? In the morning?" But when you're over 70 and living alone, you get to ditch all of that. You can eat when your body says, "Now please," and not when the clock or the crowd decides. If your body feels best with 4 small meals instead of 3 big ones, that's what you do. If you feel like having oatmeal at 8 p.m. or scrambled eggs at 2 in the afternoon, nobody's there to question it. And it's not just about timing. It's about the kind of food. You might find that your digestion, joints, or energy respond better to certain foods now, and you can make those choices without having to cater to someone else's tastes. My friend Helen, 82, eats sardines 3 times a week because she swears they keep her joints from aching. If I lived with someone, she says, I'd never hear the end of it about the smell. You also get to tailor portion sizes exactly to what works for you. No more clean your plate out of politeness. If you just want half a sandwich and 3 slices of cucumber, that's lunch. And if you want to eat the same comforting stew 3 nights in a row because it makes you feel good, well, you're the boss now. 7. Keep your home at the perfect climate for you. One of the most underappreciated luxuries of living alone after 70 is being the absolute monarch of your thermostat. You are now the weather god of your personal kingdom. No more thermostat wars with a spouse who insists 65 is perfectly fine while you're in the corner wearing 3 sweaters and a hat. No more accommodating visitors who think fresh air is more important than your knees staying pain-free. This means you can finally cater your home's temperature to what your body actually likes, which is not just about comfort, it's about health. For some people, warmth keeps their joints loose and pain at bay. For others, cooler air helps with breathing or better sleep. Arthritis doesn't negotiate with a calendar, so if you want it at 78 degrees Fahrenheit in February, go for it. I know a lady named Ruth who keeps her house warm enough that stepping inside in winter feels like walking into a tropical greenhouse. Her orchids love it, and so do her hands. On the other end of the spectrum, my friend Bill prefers his home brisk enough that you could practically hang meat in his living room. He wears flannel shirts year-round and swears by the bracing effect. The point is, no one can override your settings now. Your house, your rules, your weather. 8. Turn every room into something you'll actually use. When you live with other people, your home tends to be partly theirs, which means you sometimes keep spaces for show or for company instead of for yourself. After 70, living alone, you don't have to do that anymore. You can unapologetically turn your home into a custom-fit glove for your life. Got a guest room that only sees visitors once every 2 years? Turn it into a full-time art studio or a home gym with equipment you'll actually use. My neighbor Fran converted hers into a dedicated nap room with blackout curtains, an oversized daybed, and a small fridge stocked with cold drinks. She calls it her afternoon escape pod. Dining room? If you mostly eat in the kitchen, you can turn that into your craft space, puzzle table, or even an indoor garden area. One woman I know converted hers into a giant closet, racks, mirrors, and all. She says it's the most used room in the house now. When you stop worrying about what this room is supposed to be and start thinking, what would I love to have here? The possibilities are endless. And the best part? No one's going to wander in and complain that your library/yoga den isn't a proper formal living room anymore. 9. Spend money on comfort instead of impressing anyone. This is one of the great perks of aging. Your budget stops being a performance for other people and becomes a gift to yourself. You no longer feel the need to buy the right couch to impress guests, or the fashionable coat to look sharp at events you don't even like going to. Now, your purchases serve one master, your comfort and your joy. That means you can buy the good mattress without feeling extravagant. You can splurge on those ridiculously soft sheets that make you sigh when you get into bed. You can pick clothes based entirely on how they feel, not how they look to others. If that means you live in fleece-lined leggings and slippers with memory foam, so be it. Margaret, 81, just bought herself a heated recliner that massages her back while she watches TV. She didn't shop for what matched the decor. She went for feels like heaven. And every time she sits down, she smiles like a cat in a sunbeam. Even little things count, like buying the fancy coffee beans because mornings should taste good, or replacing that annoying can opener with one that glides like butter. Comfort is the new luxury, and you've earned it. 10. Say no without guilt, and mean it. This is the freedom most people don't fully appreciate until they've reached this stage of life. When you're younger, saying no is often tangled up with guilt, over-explaining, or worrying you'll upset someone. But by 70, you learn that no thank you is a complete sentence. You can decline invitations you don't care for without feeling obligated to give a long reason. You can pass on family events if they'll leave you drained. You can say no to favors, requests, and even conversations you don't want to have. And here's the kicker. You'll notice the world doesn't fall apart when you do it. Harold, a 78-year-old friend, has mastered this. He says, "I just say no, smile, and change the subject." He claims that if you don't start explaining, people rarely push back. It's like they accept that you know your limits and your preferences, because by now, you've earned the right to set them. The best part is, every no you give to something you don't want opens up a yes to something you do want. It could be a quiet afternoon at home, a long walk in the park, or simply a nap without rushing. And once you start practicing guilt-free no's, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. See? Living alone after 70 isn't about missing out. It's about finally living on your own terms. You get to design your days exactly how you want, whether that means wearing pajamas until dinner, building your furniture layout around your knees, or keeping the house as warm as fresh-baked cookies. You've earned this stage of life, and it's not just comfortable, it's freeing. So, if you're in this season, embrace it fully. And if you're not there yet, well, you might want to start practicing. If you enjoyed this little trip into the joys of post-70 freedom, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs a smile today, and hit that subscribe button so we can keep having these chats. Now go enjoy your perfectly set thermostat and guilt-free nap. You've earned it.